Your weekly schedule, you have to come up with your plan of how you're going to do this. You know, a lot of times it takes time to make this diet. The problem with a lot of people have is it takes, making a lot of time, takes away their time to eat healthy. But you have usually the whole family working together. It's not that much time on one evening a week, and you get almost all done. You know, or 1 or 2 hours a week with everybody working together, get all the food done for the week so you're not cooking every night. There are salad bars in places nowadays where you can go out and get salad bars, like at a Whole Foods market or some of these salad restaurants. You can bring your own dressing. The trick is to bring your own dressing along, because you can get the healthy, organic, leafy greens, but you can't get the dressings with you if you want to eat out once in a while to a salad bar restaurant. Some kind of, it says like the days where you're not cooking, you can exercise more, and it gives you like an A day and a B day and an A day and a B day, just to clarify that you still want to do some exercise every day, and you still want to spread exercise out throughout your day. So you shouldn't be sitting all morning. You should have been exercising when we took the 10-minute break. You should never go a whole morning or a whole afternoon with sitting on your can. You got to either walk or do some exercise and break up every section of every day in between the meals. But then the reason it says an A day and a B day is because one exercise day, I may be doing a lot of curling motions, a lot of pulling motions, a lot of pulling, curling, leg curls, abdominal work, crunches, back. But the next day after that, I may want to go do exercise, but I'm not going to do the same exercises again because they're still like kind of tired and wasted from the day before. So I'll do my pushing motions the next day. I'll do pushing and pressing and jumping and squatting and toe raises and leg extensions. And then I'm going to take a couple of days because I burnt out my thighs, and maybe I'm not going to do that for 2 or 3 more days. Maybe I'll take 3 days off of the heavy exercise with the heavy weights. So actually I did work out heavily on Thursday before I flew here, because I knew I wasn't going to do a lot of exercise on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday here, so I did a real heavy workout. But the point is, you see, you can exercise 4 days a week, but you're only doing the heavy work 2 times a week. Even when I'm using the power plate to work out my legs with the vibrating plates that are really going to stress my legs out, you don't want to do the power plate more than twice a week, because it's putting a lot of stress on your legs, and you want your muscles to recover. But then you can do light exercise like walking or biking or swimming or going walking after your meals or playing pickleball or rollerblading or some kind of light exercise, not the super heavy exercises. But leave time when you work out your schedule and you work out your business plan, work out how you're going to get your support system and who's going to do the shopping and cooking and who's going to, whose responsibility in the family, how we're going to help out and get this planned out to done, when you're going to shop and cook, what you're going to buy in advance, who's going to be involved in your family's decision-making. Try to get the whole family involved with helping and planning this out, including making the foods taste good in the dessert, and make this work for you and your family. When my family was young, my kids were in school, my wife and I were both working, and I was working probably 6 days a week to many nights to 9 o'clock at night. I was seeing patients, and I was, after I'd come home, I'd be writing a book till 12 at night. I'd be working a lot. I didn't have a lot of time to cook. So what we did was, we put up a little index card in a local community college, saying like $10 an hour. Now it would be $15 or $20 an hour, but in those days it was like $10 an hour. Work at my house 15 hours or 10 hours a week. For a college student. We didn't hire a chef. We hired a college student to come to do part of the shopping or part of the chopping or part of the food prep. I just gave this college student like 4 recipes that they would learn well, like the Thai wok and the anti-cancer soup and 2 dressings. And we just had this person learn how to do a few dressings and we had somebody that would just work part-time in our house after school a couple hours a day so we didn't have to cook and prepare food as much. And for the price of 1 restaurant meal a week, we had all our food prepped for the whole week pretty much. So sometimes you need extra help. The question is about mushrooms. What do I do first? Is we soak them in water. We wash them in a bowl, submerge them in water and mush them around a little bit, and then take them out and then cook them. Take the little snub off the bottom, and then chop them up and cook them. Well, you're allergic to soy, but there are other beans that you can eat that don't have the same features as soy, but you're still going to be super healthy with all the other things we're talking about here on the Nutritarian diet. So just do the best you can. If you're allergic to one thing, we're still giving you, 20 other super anti-cancer foods you're going to be using in your diet. If one thing is not in your diet, no, it's not going to be bad. No, I don't rinse can or boxed beans. I use the aquafaba, which is the liquid, is very nutritious, and in can or box beans, all the nutrients are in the liquid. Matter of fact, you can take that liquid and whip it up with an egg beater and turn it into a dessert and make a panna cotta out of it and make it as part of your dish. And so yes, you don't want to waste the liquid that comes in the canned beans or the boxed beans. It's really nutritious. The question is, she runs low blood pressure, and she's concerned that blood pressure will get too low if she has such a diet that's so low in salt. There are some people with certain medical conditions that have salt losing and can't hold on to sodium in their urine. And there are some people that require, some people with, with balance or dizzy problems or tilt table tests that require a small degree of regimented sodium in their diet. And those people should go to the smallest amount possible, titrated over time. Let's say a person needs 500 milligrams extra sodium in their diet on a regular basis, then with time, they could possibly cut back to 400 or 300 extra. But it may be the transition from the amount of salt you're eating to the amount of salt I'm recommending might be too strong of a change at first. You may have to do it slower, and you may not be able to achieve that if you have some rare issue with sodium wasting. However, let me say that in most cases it's not the case. In most cases, it just takes the person a little more time to transition, and they don't need to take the extra salt as much as they think they do once they transition more slowly. And the second thing is, if they exercise more, in other words, number one, your blood pressure can't be too low. Lower blood pressure is associated with longer life, and the lower it is, the better. So there's no such thing as blood pressure that's too low unless it's medicated too low, or you have heart failure causing it to be too low. So what I'm saying is lower blood pressure is good, not bad, and unless this person's lightheadedness is linked to hyponatremia, which means low blood sodium, if it's just linked to what they think they need more salt to keep their blood pressure up, then they're just not eating healthy enough and not exercising enough. It means they're not in good health. It doesn't mean they need more salt. So we have to analyze this and be careful. A lot of times you're just using salt to keep your blood pressure up because you're treating your detox and hypoglycemic sensations of being unhealthy, and you think you need to eat more salt or more caffeine or anything you need to keep your energy up. So I don't know for sure, but there are some rare cases when people do need a little bit of sodium. Okay, next question. You can buy lemongrass paste, and I've seen for sale, they make this lemongrass stuff in a tube you can squeeze right out. But when I read all the ingredients, there were things in there I didn't want to eat. So I made my own lemongrass paste by buying the fresh lemongrass and just blending, removing the outer leaves, soaking it, and blending it. I removed the outermost coating layer of the lemongrass because it was too woody and didn't have as much flavor in it and didn't blend easily. I soaked the whole thing, removed the woody outer coating, and then blended the rest of it. No, that's a great question. The vegetable broth, the low-sodium vegetable broth we buy in the store is just because of convenience that people want, because they want quick and easy recipes. But if you have the time or the inclination, you can make your own, and that's great. You take this, when you can use all those vegetables that you can just cook in water on a low flame for a long period of time. Pull the vegetables out, and the leftover water gives you a flavored broth. So whatever you have to use to make a vegetable broth, and vegetable broths are usually made with onion and leftover vegetables that don't look so good to serve or are not so fresh, you cook down, you pull them out of the water, and you have your own vegetable broth. Yeah, she's saying she uses onions, carrot, and celery, which are the major three things that are used in a vegetable broth, because as you know, celery contains natural sodium and has a good flavor to add flavor to soup. That's why we juiced the celery and put that in and made our own broth from it. But when you do that, do you then blend it, or do you remove them and when it's cooked down a long time, the residual celery and onion and carrot, you then throw them away? You throw them away, and then you add new stuff to make the soup. You let it cook down a long time, right? The baby kale that comes in the box, yeah. That's my favorite kale to use to eat in my salads, yeah. The baby vegetables are more nutritious than larger vegetables because when the vegetable's younger, has more isothiocyanates in it and also easier to chew. That's why sprouts, because they're very young, have a lot of isothiocyanates in them. So broccoli sprout becomes a very highly concentrated food that has so much sulforaphane in it. And as the broccoli gets bigger, it's still full of sulforaphane, but not as much as some broccoli sprouts. So we do have a sprouter where we plug it in, And we put the sprouts in it, and it waters them automatically. And we grow broccoli sprouts all the time. And I'm always serving on the salad bar. We have some broccoli sprouts that we can put on the salad with the other cruciferous greens. So yes, baby kale, baby arugula, and broccoli sprouts are some of the healthiest things you can eat in the world. What about the oxalate levels? The oxalates are higher in spinach and rhubarb and Swiss chard and parsley. So we're a little bit careful about, you don't use parsley juice or Swiss chard juice, and we're not using too much of those. And spinach we're limiting, but there's not much oxalates in kale and arugula and watercress and broccoli sprouts. And the bean, no, there's not a lot of oxalates in the aquafaba that comes with the beans. We use the chickpea liquid a lot in cooking to make desserts. To whip up, it makes like a whipped cream, to make like a fluffy whipped cream. You put like a date in there and some frozen cherries in there, and you make with the liquid coming off the chickpea can, and you have an incredibly like a whipped cream you put on your fruit and stuff. The canned beans are okay as long as you buy them unsalted and you're getting the unlined cans. That's why we don't recommend people buy tomato products in cans. Tomato products are purchased in glass because the acid from the tomatoes can leach the protective BPA, the plastic lining, out the can. But beans, because they're at a neutral pH, can go into unlined cans, and most of the people that make the beans don't, like the Eden company that makes the canned beans, or the Goya company that makes the canned beans, they don't line the cans with BPA. And you can buy those boxes of beans that don't have BPA, don't have those toxins in them. So you can use canned beans for sure. But of course, it's more expensive, and it's still great to cook. And making soups, there's no point in putting canned bean in a soup. You're going to cook it a long time anyway. You might as well just use the dried beans.